Claude just released a brand new product called Cowork. This is Claude Code for non-technical tasks. I'm really excited to test out this product in this video. It just got released, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Before we jump into the product, let's quickly go through the announcement. Claude is saying Cowork allows you to give Claude access to folders on your computer. Claude can then read, edit, or create files inside of that folder. So you can have it create a spreadsheet from a pile of screenshots or produce a first draft from scattered notes. Once you've set a task, Claude will make a plan, steadily complete it, and looping you in along the way. And it's going to ask before taking any significant actions. And then you can also use existing connectors inside of Claude. So that would include things like Google Drive or Gmail, which can link Claude to external information. And then pair Cowork with Claude in Chrome for tasks that need browser access. So Claude in Chrome is a Chrome extension for Claude that gives it the ability to browse on Chrome. So it's currently available as a research preview for Claude Max subscribers. Luckily, I am a Claude Max subscriber, so I'm going to be able to show it to you now, even though if you're on another plan, it is currently on a wait list. So here we are inside of Claude Cowork. So you have to download the Claude desktop app. So this is a new tab on the top left. We've got chat code, and now we have Cowork as a brand new feature here in a research beta. On the top, we have a progress section. So we'll be able to see progress as Claude starts working. We have an artifacts section to see outputs created. That could be websites, that could be like a spreadsheet, for example. And then we have context, so we can track the tools and files in use as Claude works. What makes this really powerful and different from just using the Claude chat is that it's going to have access to files on our computer, and it's also going to be able to make files for our computer or on our computer. A few ideas that it has is creating file, crunching data, making a prototype, sending a message, prepping for the day, or organizing files. Organizing files is interesting because you could technically give it access to a folder in your machine and then have it organize, rename those files, etc. So just like the normal Claude chat, you can add files or photos and then add connectors here. I have the Claude and Chrome connector turned on in Data for SEO. This is an SEO, basically search engine information connector, Data for SEO. Very cool. Would recommend checking it out. I could also manage my connectors. I don't have Google Drive or Gmail or Google Calendar, for example, set up, but we could. And then if we go back to a new task, here is where this, I think, is going to be really powerful. So I was already using Claude in kind of this way. I was using Claude Code and having it work with a folder that I created called Planning, where I basically have documents for No Code MBA, so different parts of the business that I want to work on, like what courses I want to create, sponsorships, videos I want to create, things like that. And I've been using Claude Code actually in this way, which is the reason that use case is basically why Claude or why Anthropic created this Cowork product, because they saw people using it in that way and wanted to give people the kind of the dashboard to do that, because using it with your terminal is not ideal, I would say. So it makes sense that they built this product. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I've been talking for a while. Let's actually get into it. So what I want to do, instead of working with a folder I already have, I'm going to open this up in a new folder. So I created a new folder called Test Claude. Inside that, I have a planning folder, which is empty. So you see this in my Finder. So I'm going to open that up here in the Cowork workspace. So it's going to ask if I want to allow Claude to change files in planning. So I'm only giving it access to that planning folder. This includes all files and subfolders. Claude will be able to read, edit, and permanently delete, and may share file contents with third-party tools it connects to. So be careful about exposing sensitive information. All right, so I'm going to say always allow. So now we're giving Claude access to that planning folder that we just created. So this is an empty file. So what I want to show you first is how we can use Cowork to actually create files inside of that empty folder. So I just wrote a prompt. It says I run a company called No Code MBA, research No Code MBA to understand the business. I have a No Code MBA YouTube channel as well. Please create a file in the folder that is a planning document for 2026. So again, as we can see here, we have a selected folder, which is that planning folder that we created. So it's an empty folder right now. The connector here, we can see it's a web search, and it's working on a skill file as well. It's using a skill as well. And let's see what skill it's actually using. We can scroll up to the top. So a skill is basically like instructions and context that Claude is getting to know how to do certain things. I didn't create this skill. It looks like this is a skill that's pre-built into Cowork, but skills can be stacked. It can use multiple skills at once. You can create your own custom skills. So there's a lot that you can do with skills, but it's cool that it's included this in Cowork. Okay, so next, before creating the planning document, let me ask a few questions to make sure to create the most useful plan for you. Okay, so it says, I think I somehow skipped. I might have accidentally clicked on the first question. So what format would you like the planning document? Strategic overview, detailed operational, OKR, simple goals list. So let's say strategic overview. Any specific tools or topics you want to focus on? AI coding tools, traditional no code, automation and AI, balanced mix. So why don't we, for this purpose, let's say AI coding tools. Okay, it looks like I accidentally said no preference for the first question, which is fine. So now we can see here on the right, we have our progress. So it did the research. Now it's creating the strategic planning document, and then it's going to save the document to our workspace folder. So it's creating a comprehensive document now. So this is cool. So just to kind of give you a little overview, again, on the right side, we have our context of what folder it's working in. It looks like I guess I could add multiple folders as well throughout my computer, connectors, web search, and then the skill of creating documents. And we can add custom skills as well. That's another feature you can add to Claude. So any skills that you have, Claude would have access to here as well. And then artifacts, we'll see if we can have it create an artifact. Maybe we'll have it do like create a document or something and see if that shows up here. I'm not sure what it'll look like. Again, this is my first time using Cowork as well. So we're learning together of how it works and what it's like. So it looks like it's creating a file here. Not sure exactly. I guess we'll see what kind of file it creates. I'm curious. When I was doing this type of thing with Claude Code, it would create Markdown files. So .md, because that's what Claude Code is good at reading as well. Like that's what the skill is. So I'm curious if it's going to create a Markdown file or if it's going to potentially create a different type of file. All right, so it created the file. It created it as a docx file. So focus on AI coding tools as your primary focus and quarterly roadmaps with goals for different courses to create. So if I click on this artifact, so it saved that in the artifact, I can click OK. So it looks like this is not really a readable format. So I don't know what that JS, it's a JavaScript file, I guess. I'm actually not sure what that is. And again, remember, this is a research preview. So there could be areas of this that maybe are a little confusing that Claude is going to improve as it goes. So I see under working files, I can click on this. Can I load it? No. Can I open it in Pages? Let's see. So this is a Mac. So I don't have Word, but I do have Pages. So here we can see we do have the document created, quarterly roadmap. So let's see what it actually came up with. A vision, empower anyone to build professional grade software using AI coding tools, democratizing software development. Yes, definitely agree with that. Key pillars, AI tool mastery, YouTube growth, community expansion, revenue diversification. I like those as well. Quarterly roadmap. Why don't we just start with Q1? So course development, launch comprehensive Lovable course, create Cursor fundamentals course, update existing, which I have Lovable and Cursor courses already, but maybe expanding those could make sense. I don't know how much, maybe it missed some of the research. YouTube strategy, publish 3 videos per week. Build in public series showcasing full app builds. That could be interesting. Target 25,000. We actually already have 36,000. So I don't know where it got that number from. Maybe it needed to do more research into that. So it's saying the Q4 target, 65,000 subscribers. I like that. So yeah, overall, just like a nice intro document. Definitely more that we'd want to build onto this. Something else I'm curious is, did it actually save that file in the folder or did it just create the file? So it looks like it actually did save that file in the folder. So the next thing I want to do is actually ask it a question. I'm going to say, I see you saved it as a docx. Is this file good for you to reference, or is .md better? I actually don't know the answer to this question, which is why I'm asking. Okay, interesting. So for my purposes, Markdown is better to reference because it can read and edit directly without conversion tools. It's plain text. Docx is better for sharing externally. I can create a Markdown version that we can iterate on together, and then a docx. Okay, so that's actually helpful and something that maybe we would want to add as like context or to like the preferences. So I'd say like when creating documents, create .md files. So just something that we could potentially do. But why don't I say, great, let's replace it with docx. Okay, so now I replaced it with a Markdown version. So we can still view it here, and it still looks good because Claude's desktop app can show these really nicely. It's now prompting me to open in a code editor because it's a Markdown file instead of a document. And this is what I want, because I want to be working with Claude together on this. So just something for you to know as well, the Markdown files are generally better if you want to work with Claude. And here, if we go into the document, or the folder, we can see now it's an MD file. So it updated it. So what I want to do now is let's just show you like my actual workflow of how I would use this and continue iterating here. So I'm going to say, great. Now I want to create a more detailed .md file for Q1 only. Also, our YouTube subs are 36K. Let's focus on how I can grow the business, do more research if needed. So it's going to do more research on no-code MBA's current state and growth strategies for AI education businesses, then create a detailed Q1 plan. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Like, is this a workflow that you find valuable, that you could see yourself using? Is this like not actually useful compared to the chat? Curious what you think. For me, I do really like that it has access to the folder and that we can have that as something to continue working together. I think also as we continue building out the folder and the plan, for example, that means that when we come back to Cowork in the future, it's going to have all of this context and be able to keep working with me. And I'm going to show you some use cases later on in this video that I think would apply to that as well. All right, so it's doing more research on no-code MBA's current state. So we can even see the queries that it's doing: YouTube channel growth strategies, educational content creators. If we keep scrolling down, it's searching the web for online course creator revenue stream. So I guess it's just doing research on like how to grow as a YouTuber and online course creator. What is your current content capacity? So small team, I have help with editing, admin. What growth levers do you want to prioritize in Q1? Subscriber growth, viewers to paid, free to paid funnel, new revenue streams, or course production. So let's say converting viewers to paid. I'd actually love to grow that or see what ideas it has for that. This is like a trend I see in general in these AI tools, and especially in terms of the agentic ones, of having agents that have context to do more for you. This is something I'm seeing with tools like Manus. For example, Manus will create Markdown files and to-do lists, and the agent will go through those tasks. It has web search. So this reminds me a little bit of Manus, I would say, except you are getting here Claude Code's agent, or Claude's agent, which in my opinion, I think as of now is the most agentic and possibly the best agent out there right now. So that's kind of as I'm thinking about the landscape. I think that the next step on top of this is like scheduled tasks. That's something Manus has. That would be nice if Claude Cowork had that as well, like scheduled tasks. Every morning, go into my folders or do research as well and come back to me. That's something that Manus does have, that scheduled task feature. That would be nice if Cowork added that as well. That would be cool. So, okay, here it's creating a detailed Q1 plan, and it is doing it in MD. So we asked for that. I'm curious if we didn't ask, if it would still do that. But anyway, we did ask, so it listened, and it's doing an MD file and not a Word document file. So again, we can go here. It's going to add that as an artifact, I guess. And then on the progress, it's constantly updating the to-do list progress. Something I just saw that's cool is you can go in and ask questions or make changes to the progress or to the to-do list. And then you can queue messages as well. So if it's doing a task, you can queue messages for the future, and it'll just keep working. That's another cool thing that Claude Code has that the chat didn't have, that now looks like Cowork is bringing in. So this is really is a non-technical version of, Claude Code. Okay, done. I've created a detailed Q1 growth path, focused on converting viewers to paid members, and updated your main strategic plan with the correct 36,000 subscriber baseline. Okay. Key areas: lead magnet system, email nurture overhaul, YouTube content for conversion, pricing and offer optimization, and AI tool partnerships. So let's click on this, just look at it in a little bit more detail. So it's talking about subscriber to email list, what percentage I can target, giving me some ideas for lead magnets. So like creating a lead magnet for Lovable, create a lead magnet for Cursor, shortcuts, cheat code, cheat sheet for non-developers, set up dedicated landing pages for each, update the descriptions, etc. And then it talks about email, just like an email nurture sequence. First, personal story, why I started No Code MBA, quick win tutorial, problem solution bridge. So kind of using these frameworks that are known to work for that type of thing. I think what would be really cool to test out is also like connecting this to Claude for desktop and seeing if it can actually take action on these things. Like what if it could log into my email software and actually create these email workflows? That's with the future. And even if it can't fully do that right now, you have to think about how that is where things are going. Like it's inevitable, in my opinion, that that's going to happen. So you want to start thinking about that as you're kind of planning ahead and thinking about what the future might look like. So I like that. And now if we go into our planning document, again, here it is in the folder. So this plan is here. So we can come back to it, for example, tomorrow morning and help it create a plan for us for the day. And that's what I'm going to show you next. So now we're in a new task. We can go ahead and make sure we are on the right document. I wonder if I can do multiple. It looks like I can only choose one at a time, at least from what I'm seeing right now. That makes sense. I think it's just only can access one folder the way that Claude Code can. So here we are in the one that we just created. And what I want to do is prep for the day. So it's going to give us, we can say what type of prep, plan my day, plan my week, meeting, or commitment. So let's say plan my day. Like I need to help me plan my day, check my calendar, email, and Slack. That's interesting. I'm not going to do this one because I don't have those connected, but it's cool that you could do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is go back to just the prep for the day basic. So help me prep for today. Ask any clarifying questions and share a plan how you'll approach this task. Please refer to the Q1 plan for this. And because we're in this planning folder, and you can actually click on it and see, Claude is going to read that file. It's going to read the Q1 file. It's already there under the working files. And it's going to help us prepare for the day. And then now it's asking some clarifying questions to basically help it refine the plan that it's going to create. So what does preparing for the day mean to you? What's on the agenda? So let's say today I feel like doing content creation and I feel like admin operations. So let's do next. Which week in Q1 are you? Or January 12th? I guess it should probably interesting. So let's say week 2. Do you have any specific meetings? And this is where if we connected our Google Calendar, it could potentially have that. So now it's going to ask some more questions. What deliverable would be most helpful? Let's say I want a prioritized task list. And this is what I was saying before, that I think it would be cool to have a scheduled task that would do this kind of thing on a daily basis. All right, so created a document, and I did the docx again. So we would have to change the system instructions if we always wanted Markdown. I guess I can open this in Pages. It looks like it also has an issue opening docx inside of the Claude desktop app potentially. All right, so now we have this like executive summary of today's priorities. So Lovable lead magnet, Cursor lead magnet, Bolt lead magnet, and priority 2, admin operations, priority 3, content planning, email sequence prep. Focus on one lead magnet today, time estimate 2 to 3 hours. Okay, this is the other thing that I think is funny about Claude and Claude Code. Like if you're building an app with AI and it'll give you a time estimate of something, and that estimate is always like the estimate for a human, not for an AI. So what I want to do next is, let's say like, great, thank you. Build me a mock-up landing page for the Lovable lead magnet. So let's see what it can do here. It is now updating the to-do list to build the Lovable lead magnet landing page. And it is now generating it. So let's see what it looks like. And I'm curious as well here what it's going to give me as the result, like if it's just going to be an HTML page. But I think the other thing that's cool is it should be in my folder or on my computer. So then I could open it up in like Cursor, for example, and keep building and switching to code. This could be another thing where it'd be interesting if it like switched to like Claude Code in a way once it starts writing code. Just some other thoughts as I'm using it. But again, we'll see what result we actually get. Something else to note here that I see is when we're using Cowork, the tasks run locally and aren't synced across devices, which kind of makes sense because it's using our local files. So if you have two computers, for example, you would only be able to, you'd want to use one computer for Cowork. All right, so created the landing page mockup. It is, let's view the landing page. Pretty nice, not bad. It did use purple, like the typical AI design style. Now that's something, again, where we could use a skill inside of Claude to give it some design direction. But honestly, not bad. 5 lovable prompts that build production-ready apps. Get the free pack. This is cool. Like, I could see this potentially working well as a lead magnet. So then what's it say next steps? Connect it to ConvertKit or Beehive, host it on, I mean, that wouldn't swap the placeholder with testimonial. We would have to host this on something like Vercel if it's just a page like this, but create the actual PDF lead magnet to deliver. Okay, why don't we see if it can do that? So can you do, let's see if it can actually do this. And then just to show you, let's see in our file, in this folder, what we have now. So now in the planning, we have the landing page, which is the HTML, CSS code, the growth plans, and today's priority. So all of this is inside of our planning folder. So it's bringing in another skill, the PDF skill. This is, again, skills that are built into Cowork. I didn't add these as custom skills, but it looks like it's probably just I can open it up to see. It's just a skill that Anthropic added, which is a PDF processing guide, just showing how to use Python to create a PDF. This is also, I think, like the future of where these tools are going is, you're going to have platforms like Claude or other platforms that are going to give the AI this context on its own. Like, as a user, I shouldn't have to give it that instruction for a PDF. It's a very common task, and it's cool that Anthropic has that built in. Okay, so it created the PDF. Let's view it and see what it looks like. Okay, so it looks like I have to open it in preview. It can't open here. So that's another thing that would be nice if more files could open here in the desktop app. So let's open the PDF. Okay, again, this is a PDF that it just generated. That's really cool. All right, 5 lovable prompts that build production-ready apps. The SaaS scaffold prompt, the clone and customize prompt, the data first prompt, like the design is really nice, the polish prompt, the debug and iterate prompt. Like, that alone is actually really cool. I could imagine actually like a SaaS app that's AI that basically, like, imagine a lead magnet app that you would tell it what you want or what you need, and then it would generate a landing page and the PDF and the email sequence, and it would use AI to do all of that. And then you could go in and make some tweaks and changes. I think that would be a really cool AI app that someone could build. You could even use Claude Code to build it, but that's kind of on a micro level. Or here, if you're using Cowork, you can do this pretty easily and have the agent build this for you, and then you can put it together pretty easily. So pretty good. Of course, if we were really doing it, I might, read the PDF a little bit more closely, make sure there's no changes that we want to make. But if we want to make changes, we could just ask it to. So yeah, that would be the next step there. If you like this video, be sure to click the link in the description to subscribe to our free AI and vibe coding newsletter. We send it out every morning. It's a summary of all the most important AI and vibe coding news from the last day. So you'll stay up to date with everything that's happening. Things are changing really quickly in this industry. So subscribe to that newsletter. It's free in the description. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. And I'd love to hear in the comments what you think of this. Is this something that you could see yourself using? I'm trying to keep you up to date with everything new that's being released as quickly as possible. If there's anything that you'd like me to cover in the future, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.